Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic, host of Bachelor Nation News. Happy Wednesday hump day out there, and we've got a Game of Roses podcast clip to play for you guys. Follow me on Instagram at DNeals, and also join the Patreon if you haven't already. Patreon.com/Dave Neal for behind-the-scenes, membership-only content. We've got a lot to talk about here. We're going to get into this. Very fascinating look at Tammy describing her time on Bachelor and Bachelor in Paradise, and so much to share there. I truly mean this. It's very, very fascinating conversation. But first, I wanted to shout out, can you believe this? We received a $1,000 pledge by Greta. Thank you so much for the Patreon. You don't have to do that. I appreciate it. The lowest tier we have is $5 a month. If you pay annually, it's $4.20. We make about 30 to 40 hours of content a week, which really comes down to 10 cents an hour. But I appreciate everyone that's been joining and being a part of that exclusive content. All right, so we're going to get into Game of Roses. Now, listen, I have to give credit where it's due. You guys know I criticize bad audio, bad Zoom quality, bad bandwidth, bad boring people, hosts that don't care about being on the show. The Bachelor produced podcasts are some of the biggest dumpsters of garbage I've seen at flaming piles of trash that is out there. Now, when it comes to creating good content, you need information and entertainment, or one of the other. Like a lot of information or a lot of entertainment, or a little bit of both. Bachelor produced podcasts provide information because they were on the show, but what they lack is real entertainment. No quality storytelling, ability to be creative, or all those things. We get that with Game of Roses podcast. We get that with The Outsiders that actually have to work hard to produce good quality, to write great books. By the way, I got a advanced reader's edition of their book, How to Win the Bachelor. Isn't that great? Oh, the green screen's picking it up. Either way, point being is that Chad and Lizzie, this is fantastic stuff. And now that they're video, you got to go subscribe. Go check them out. I completely endorse what they're doing. A lot of you guys already know them, but some don't. And in which case, by the way, hey, if they're listening, get me on that show. Look at the good quality they got here. Good audio, good video. What more could you ask for? And a great introduction. Let's hear their introduction of Tammy.
This is Pace Case.
I'm Bachelor Clues, and we're obviously joined here today with a very special
great
guest.
audio.
We are honored. We are humbled to have with us an icon of the professional era, somebody who redefined the villain and professional archetypes, and one of the best colorful narrators to ever touch driveway and sand. She placed 9th on one of our favorite Bachelor seasons, season 24. That was Peter Popeye Weber, a multi-hyphenate founder, entrepreneur, realtor. Please welcome to the pit, Tammy K. Lai.
All right, so she's in there. Okay, so first of all, I love they call it driveway or sand. Driveway being Bachelor, sand being the beach. We're going to jump all the way to the 58-minute mark. The whole thing, I've got notes, guys. The whole thing's great. Everything is great in there, right? There's so much to talk about. She talks trash about McKenna and Victoria Fuller. There's some other things. So I don't want to skimp on any of that, but of course, credit where it is. Go watch them. But I'm going to get into this story that we've already covered here. Tammy quitting The Bachelor. Now, Tammy kind of rage quit. If I respect any sort of quitting, it's rage quitting. I feel like that's the most prominent form of art that we see in society. The old, you know what? Whatever you do. So anyway, here's her rage quitting. We already covered this, and then we're going to get her sort of elaborating on what actually went down. Very fascinating stuff. So here's just a quick clip of me watching her Instagram sort of rage quit.
Also, I wanted to address my last post. I'm done with this franchise, and my contract is up in April, and I'm never looking back. If you're not their favorite, and it's very clear, you are treated like secondhand up, and they don't care about you or your value or your worth. So they are just a network that is so light years behind the times, and this is why the ratings are tanking. This is why all the new contestants don't have as many followers like the Netflix shows. I mean, look at Love is Blind. They've broadcasted so many different types of people.
All right, so she just slams them. She gives them the good old slam. This is like when you break up with someone and you're like, you know what? Your thing's not as good as you think it is. Your jokes aren't that funny, and your triceps aren't as defined as you would hope. You're like, oh, the last one was a burn. Don't mess with the triceps. Anyway, so she really threw the flame out there, and we're gonna get to what the podcast the producer's response was to her. But let's just watch the Game of Roses break it down.
She agrees with me.
Yeah,
on the record.
She's better at hosting than Nick Bio. I mean, I think we can all agree 100%. On that. But let's get to this TikTok that you put out at the beginning of last month. I'm just going to read here some of it. The TikTok that you put out last month. Okay. I'm gonna just
Instagram
read
story.
some stuff that you say in it, and then we're going to discuss this. You say, I'm done with this franchise. My contract is up in April, and I'm never looking back. If you're not their favorite, it's very clear you're treated like secondhand dog shit, and they don't care about you or your value or your worth. They're a network that is light years behind the times, and this is why the ratings are tanking. This is why the new contestants don't have as many followers as the Netflix shows. ... It's time to move on, you basically say.
Damn.
So,
Oh, that was my Instagram story.
sorry, your Instagram story. Right. So, what was that about? What got you so mad in that moment?
Oh, I feel like I've answered this question so many times because I've had so many interviews. But I will just say that we were working on a project for a very long time, and we ended up coming to a disagreement that really hurt my feelings and just everything that I worked for the last 2 years out the window. I felt so betrayed by them. And that's when I knew, like, there's no way that I could ever be a favorite. I will never get there. And that's when I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I think my time is capped here, and I'm done. I think I was very emotional that week, and I mean, that obviously showed through my very upsetting Instagram story. But I mean,
now, I've heard from Tammy myself when I was off in Vegas. I got some DMs from her, which I won't read, but I'll just say this. She was upset. This wasn't your like, oh, they gave me a bad edit. This is like bad business deals. We had something, we didn't, you know, that type of stuff.
I mean, I'm grateful for their opportunity, but they don't give me credit where it's due, where I also had a factor into my time on the show. I put in the work. I'm that character.
Totally.
You know, and they were just really good at dangling the carrot in front of me, and I was just sick of it. So,
what was the carrot?
I can't say.
How about?
So she's not going to say, but we're gonna speculate. And by the way, I just have to say that their use of microphones and the mic arms here, which connects the microphones, and the backlighting behind the brick. I mean, you guys know me. Shout out to Bruce. He knows a thing or two about my masonry love, and the idea that brick just ties it all together. To find out Game of Roses has a nice brick that is backlit is just chef's kiss.
How about this? Let's do a no. You can say no or no comment.
No, I can't say. Nope, I'm not.
Do you know who Kayla Quinn is?
Who?
Kayla Quinn, third place finisher from Ben Higgins' season.
Yes.
She was. I'll just tell you a little story about her. She was offered the role of Bachelorette. The contract was signed, and they shot promos with her, and then they yanked it to give it to JoJo Fletcher.
And she would have been the first Asian bachelorette.
Right.
So, of course, obviously, the hosts here are implying that Tammy was offered Bachelorette and then it was taken away. Now, we know this has happened before with Kayla Quinn. Sometimes they'll have multiple bachelorettes because in case one will start dating somebody, they can't just get hosed. You know, these are their real lives. If they fall for someone else, they fall for someone else. But obviously, you know, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollar contracts and pretty much your life being set in the sense that you're going to be provided a big enough following to work as an influencer and make, you know, you're at least, it's $1 million lottery win if you become the Bachelor or Bachelorette. Unless you completely botch it, chances are you're going to be okay. With that said, they're implying that she was offered something of that level. Let's see if we can get a tell from her.
I'm just saying, I wonder what that feels like. How many people know what that feels like?
That
That's
must
all.
be very crappy.
So good.
No, because I mean, I love JoJo as she's one of my favorite Bachelorette seasons, but that does suck, and that just goes to show you like they're so
She doesn't take the bait. She goes, that must be really crappy. She doesn't take the bait.
stuck in their old ways that it doesn't even matter if you're this fantastic person. If you don't look the way that they normally cast, you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
Which would be a, you know, Anglo-Saxon, Southerner, Protestant kind of energy. I believe that's what she's saying is like white bread, play to a certain base. I think that's what they're implying here.
No, I mean, I just, we're all very curious to know what that project was and what you were actually working on.
Everyone and their mom's asking me, but everyone thinks that it's because I didn't get called for Family Feud. I'm just going to go with that story.
So Tammy's taking the approach of not giving away this information for free because she probably would get sued. I think it's a great idea. If you watch my Dave Neal show video, I talk about Chris Rock saying, I'm not going to give you a statement on Will Smith until I'm getting paid. It's going to be built into a $50 million stand-up deal. Obviously, Tammy's not going to, be getting that much. But when the time comes for her to release a podcast that she's creating and building equity for, That's the story she's going to need to lead with.
Because
No, that's
an
obviously
easier
not
story.
it. Are you kidding me? Family Feud. You're like, it was my fucking dream. Since
be
I was
on
2 years old, I want to be on Family Feud, and I orchestrated the past 5 years of my life to go into The Bachelor in Paradise, just so I can get on Family Feud. It's obviously not that. I think I have some ideas what it may be, but will we ever know? Will you ever release this information?
I am writing a book.
Release it.
Oh,
I'm trying to debate on what I want to call it. I might call it Breaking Up with Roses.
okay.
But it's also like my life story too and everything, my experience in general in life, but primarily.
Listen, credit where it's due. Tammy's a hustler. She's a real estate agent, a bartender. I think she does SAT prep for kids in school. She does it all.
On the show as well.
What,
so maybe I will release it there, but they do look over the book, so they probably won't let me say it.
But what does that mean? Won't let you say it at the cost of what? What would they do to you?
You get sued.
Would they sue you though?
I don't know.
Depending
I
on
don't
what
wanna
it
find
is,
out.
I guess, and what that story is. I mean, they've only sued a couple of people, I think, successfully.
Luke P was sued for $100,000 plus court fee plus legal fees, so for $120,000. And Reality Steve, I believe, was also sued because he was, and I could be wrong with this, I believe offering compensation for somebody's information, which when someone has an NDA, you can't pay that, you can't offer money, which, by the way, I was accused of offering this week of paying my sources. And it's like, you think I give two measly craps about paying for a source? This information rains down onto my DMs. Trust me about that. The stuff I don't share with people is wild. You know what I mean? The stuff that doesn't make the cut could be its own TV show.
Have you ever been asked to do a Bachelor Nation podcast?
They've
All right, so
never-
now we're getting on the Bachelor Nation podcast. The old sloth, the slop. It's real. You know, it's just the stuff they put together and banged together a couple. I've seen Zoom meetings held at higher production value than Bachelor Nation podcasts.
asked me when I went on my rampage, they were like,
Rampage.
if XYZ wasn't going to renew their contract, like you were going to be asked to do it. I go, so I'm secondhand dog shit.
Right.
You want me to be a backup?
So that's what they're doing. They're saying, all right, stop talking trash about us, and we're going to dangle something we might give to you. A real trash.
Yeah, you'd make a great backup, Tammy.
Thank you.
Why
that's
don't you just
that's
start
all
your own
I am
podcast?
to them is a backup.
Yikes.
You know?
Yeah.
But I'm like, why would I do your podcast, take a fraction, make no money?
Mhm.
Like, I know what they get paid. It's not a lot. I'm like, I might as well make my own podcast and take 100% of the proceeds.
Yeah.
And I'd make a killer podcast.
Bingo.
Do you have that in the works?
100%. Yes.
It's called owning equity. It's called, taking, like, I have people every day saying, oh, Dave, we'd love you to join our YouTube network. F off. I'm 100%. No. A CEO and intern right here. I'm the intern, I'm the CEO, and I'm HR. We're not working for anybody else.
Are you going to do it with somebody else, another player maybe?
Me and Katie have actually thought about
What?
doing it. Me, Katie, and Stefan. Can you imagine the chaos?
That would be fantastic.
I think it'd be so
my
funny,
God, I want
but-
that.
I don't know. Maybe I just want to do a podcast that's like more entrepreneurial.
Okay, so maybe she'll do a podcast with Katie Thurston. Good stuff. Yeah, don't give away, don't work for salary. Create your own podcast and build your own wealth and equity. And if you do well, great. If you don't, at least you know that you're taking the full risk on yourself. I was actually at my stand-up show last night, and there was someone who worked for one of the late night TV shows, a Jimmy Kimmel, a Jimmy Fallon. I'm not going to say who, but it was one of those Corden type of producers. And I was like, look. No offense, but you guys can't even afford me with what I do right now. The late night TV shows and networks, they pay crap. The SAG minimums at Screen Actors Guild, it's not impressive. It's not good. I'll show you guys right now. You guys want to see right now? Look at this. This is from just an exclusive for you. This is from the Screen Actors Guild. I've been waiting for the perfect moment to open this. This was a check I received today. Look at it. A residual statement here. And this is a check I received for doing Birdman several years ago. There it is. I'm going to show you right here. I'm not going to... This is how much I got paid for doing Birdman, the Best Picture movie. Right there. See that? Can you see that? You can't really see it. $6. You can't see that. Anyway, it's not focusing. There it is. $6.23. Now, mind you, this residual has paid a little bit over time. So, no, sorry. They took... after taxes. That's where it is. $3 right there, $3.47 after taxes. Okay, so put that in the old tax machine there. But either way, the point of like making your own content just shows you how much value we have when we add equity into what we do. And that's all I can vouch for. Patreon.com/Dave Neal. More content coming your way. We're going to be live in a few minutes on the Patreon, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Bye, guys.